Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video. And today we are taking on the collection of epic battles, and we are doing the Legendary Existence clear. Now, after looking at the roster, so I've done all of the events so far for Stage 2, and by far the hardest was Planet Namek Saga. So if you're struggling with Planet Namek Saga, feel free to check out my video. I'll link it here at the end of the video so you can see it. But I did the Super Saiyan run first, although I think I posted it second. The Super Saiyan run was very easy, and the Legendary Existence run is also quite easy. When I did my first run, I had mentioned that like I haven't looked at, or no, it was when I was doing the Planet Namek Saga run in that video. I said, I haven't looked at Legendary Existence yet, but I'm pretty sure this one will be the hardest. And yeah, I was right. Legendary Existence actually I think might be the easiest. And so what I did to add an additional challenge to this, because I felt like it was just way too easy, I decided here in this video, what you're looking at is a run that I've done without the new Int LR Goku. So there's actually enough really good Legendary Existence with a leader skill to put them all on, that you can basically just run this really busted Realm of Gods build with all these UI Gokus. So the reason why Legendary Existence is so easy is because you have all the UI Gokus plus the Transforming Goku who stacks and has damage reduction. So as we go through the video, you'll see there are some points, especially like early on before units can stack. There's definitely some times where like it gets a little dicey and my life gets kind of low, but I'm just kind of coasting through like without items for most of it. And then at the end I'll use a few items here and there just to kind of make it a little bit more safe, just to make sure I beat it, right? Because this is my first clear of it. Basically my team build is this. You could do a couple of team builds for this, and this once again would be a team build without the Int LR Goku that just came out. Obviously you could throw him on there and it's even easier because he's really busted also. But I actually almost prefer the units in this build even over maybe using that Int LR Goku, just because these units all have dodge and they're a little bit more defensive. Although the one change you could make, so this is a Realm of Gods build with Int UI Goku as the leader, so I've got two of him floating around. And basically, I have all these UI Gokus that can dodge. They're very powerful. They're very strong attacks. I would say the weakest unit on this team right now is actually the Int God Goku that I have. He can dodge, but it's only like a 50% chance, and defensively he's actually quite weak, right? So there's like parts here and there that kind of get dicey with that Int God Goku. You can see there on the front, he's only at like 77k defense, so not like the craziest, right? So yeah, if you had the Int Namek Goku, like you could just do a build with him and then just not put that LR God Goku. He was a little bit of a filler unit, but he definitely is good enough for this event, especially if it's dodging, right? So the general idea here is you just run. The reason why I like running the Int UI Goku is the Int UI Realm of Gods leader. The reason why I like him as the leader is because he pairs really well with the AGL UI Goku. So like you can have the AGL UI Goku and then like him as a rotation, and then you can kind of have the other Int UI Goku either floating around. It depends. You really have a little bit open-ended on how you want to do the other rotation, but I kind of want to use Transforming Goku, so you'll see I'll keep him on rotation for the most part, and then I'll just kind of link him with whichever other units floating around that seems better. And then the physical UI Goku is always floating around because I like him as a nice support unit for all the Universe Survival Sagas. He doesn't support like every Goku on the team, but he supports most of them, and he's a stacker, which is really, really good, right? So there is another build you could do where you could use AGL UI Goku as the lead and then still run all of the other UI Gokus. Then you could do, like the rotation I have here is like perfect. This is Strength UI Goku linked up with AGL UI. We've got the floating UI supporting, so that's like a perfect rotation there. I like putting Strength UI Goku. You'll see through most of the video here, I'm usually putting Strength UI Goku in the front because I want to get him all the dodges to build up his passive, because his attack and defense also build on dodge, whereas the AGL UI Goku, he builds up ki on dodge, but his passive is like fully built, so he can just like get really good attack and defensive stats right away, right? Now obviously the stacking doesn't matter as much until we get to the last phase, but you're seeing here, just as I'm explaining my team and my team comp here, like we basically got all the way up to Frieza. So like you go through those mid battles very, very quickly. You can see I did take some damage there, but this worked out fantastic because now my Int UI Goku is just transforming right away going into the last battle. And this is really nice because both of these Int UI Gokus now, they're going to have 100% chance to dodge. So I virtually cannot be hurt on this first turn. Now, I was a little scared here though, because we have a Tech Frieza and we have my AGL Goku that is not stacked in the middle. So I am using a Princess Snake to heal up, but I probably honestly could have gotten by without healing even though my health was that low. But there's really no point in not using the item here because I got both my Int UI Gokus transformed. And I would want to heal next turn anyways, even if I survive this turn, so why take the risk, right? So, had I known the Super was coming there, yeah, I really didn't need to use an item there, and then I could have tried healing up maybe more with orbs and seeing if I could skate by. But there's really no reason I had to be very conservative here, because this team is just going to blow through the Friezas so fast. It is a very offensively and defensively powered team. It contains many of the best units in the entire game in it. So, like I said, this Legendary Existence run, even without the Namek Goku, is quite the cakewalk. It is very, very, very easy. I think this was actually a much easier build than even the Super Saiyan build. As busted as the Super Saiyan team is, because these UI Gokus have so much dodge and it's so consistent, you just really don't have to worry about taking damage. And then units that aren't dodging are all stacking defense. So there's a lot of different ways you could run the team, right? You could focus on just keeping all the stackers on and maybe even floating some of the UI Gokus if you need to, but yeah, I just ran it like this, and all of these Realm of Gods units, they're all like so cohesive and flow well together. And even the transforming Goku by the end here, when he transforms, once he's in God and Blue, like he links up actually really, really well with this team. So it might seem odd at first when you have this like random just Super Saiyan Goku running around with all these Realm of Gods units. Once he gets to that end phase, they're linking very, very, very well. And this whole team is actually quite cohesive. That AGL transforming Goku, I would say, is quite the game changer. It makes me think about team builds a lot differently now. The great thing with that AGL transforming Goku, he's got all that damage reduction and he's stacking, so he's a great like defensive unit, but he also is offensively doing very, very well for himself. And because he has all those transformations, he is just on a ton of teams. So he's just like a godsend for like Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 2. Some of these teams are a little bit underrepresented. And he works on all of them. And like I said, I feel like now I need to rethink my whole Realm of Gods team, because Realm of Gods is like one of my favorite teams, and I want to make room for this transforming Goku. I know he doesn't link the best early on, but if I'm doing long events, when he gets into God Goku, so you can see here, I'm choosing to keep the AGL Goku on rotation with the UI, even though he links, the two UIs are linking like fantastically, right? But that physical UI is meant to be more of a floater, but I could keep him on to start stacking as well. But I would rather just have him float around and focus on stacking the Goku, who's just a much better defensive unit for the AGL Goku, right? So, and what you're going to see is later on, once I get past Super Saiyan 3 and I go God with that AGL Goku, he actually links really, really well with Int UI Goku. So that's really my thought process with that, and he's just like untouchable. Like that, both the Goku and the Transforming Frieza EZAs, I have just been so ridiculously impressed with them. They are just so fun and like feel so good to use. I wish they felt that good on release, because honestly, when they both released, they both felt a little underwhelming. And part of like the Goku's problem has always been that his links change so much between transforming, right? And that is still, I would argue, an issue for him. But his damage reduction and just his raw stats are so good, like his output is so good, that it outweighs that, right? And then the Frieza, he was a little underwhelming at first too, because he just, you know, the passive was just very simple, and I mean, that was more appropriate for the time. But it just took so long to get to the final phase, and in like the first form, he did okay, but he wasn't like anything crazy, and like other Dokkan Fest units at the time that were coming out were just way stronger than that first form Frieza at stage 1, that like he didn't get used very much. Now, when the Link level update came out, that was a game changer for the Frieza. I actually dusted him off and used him quite a bit, because with Big Bad Bosses and that full level 10 Link set, that Frieza before EZA was putting up 3.5 mil attack stats. He was really, really, really good, right? So I would argue that at this time, he actually didn't even need the EZA. He was actually still worth using. Like, he was very usable, especially with his stacking in that ridiculous Link set. So the Frieza, to me, like, kind of seems like the more powerful overall unit, right? Like, he's very cohesive. He links well in all of his forms. He links well with the teams that he's on. He seems to typically put up overall better attack and defensive stats. The big advantage that Goku has, though, is he is on a ton of teams. Both units are on a ton of teams, but the big advantage that Goku has is that damage reduction. Like, that is so huge. So even though the Goku sometimes might have less defense than Frieza, he's actually going to defend better than the Frieza. So I'd say the AGL Goku defensively is a much better unit. Now, this phase right here, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is, like, typically the least cohesive with the teams you're putting him on, unless you're running him on Super Saiyan 3. Because his link set is very, very wonky for the units we're running. He's definitely going to link better with Super Saiyan 3 units, right? Although I think he might share shocking speed with the God Goku, which is actually fairly decent, right? The problem with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, like the transforming one, or like this Goku that is transforming, is if you're, say, running him on Super Saiyan 3, like you're only getting this one turn where he's going to be linking really well. And then with the other phases, it's all going to depend on the other units. But Super Saiyan 3 just in general needs a lot of help. Like, nobody's running Super Saiyan 3 as a team right now. I think they definitely can rectify that during the next hero celebrations. We have a couple of Super Saiyan 3 Vegetas that definitely need, like, I think they're not even awakened yet, and they could get easy A's. There are plenty of other Super Saiyan 3 units that could get easy A's, so if they wanted to even make the next hero celebration Super Saiyan 3 themed, they definitely could do that and really beef them up, right? So anyways, I know I've kind of been rambling a little bit, but you can see as we're going through the stage here, it's just very free and easy with these UI Gokus, right? Like, they're dodging like crazy. They're defensively just blocking everything. They're offensively just peeling through this Frieza very, very quickly, right? So right here, I just said, yep, let's just throw the active skill on. I believe Strength UI Goku here is just going to wipe the floor with them very quick. And then we're going to be on to the last phase. So I would say this team build is a very safe build to use. I would say this is going to be one of the easier runs for you guys if you have all the units. If you don't have all the units, I mean, just look at your Legendary Existence roster and just use your best judgment to see what the best units would be. But the reason why this run is so much easier than Planet Namek Saga is just because the roster is much better. The units are all like top tier units, and they're all super class, right? The hard part with the Planet Namek Saga run, if you haven't seen it yet, like I said, I'll probably just link it in here, because that's the one that most people are probably going to want to watch, because that's the hardest one. You actually have to run extreme units on that build, because there are just not enough good super class Planet Namek units to do it. And as the leader, I actually ran this AGL LR Frieza as my leader for that run. Even though the damage they do is severely reduced, they're still defensively viable, and I got the great leader skill off of them, right? So they're definitely going to be selling you really hard on the new LRs, because they're going to be Planet Namek Saga units, so that's part of the reason it's so difficult. And it also basically requires you have the new Goku, and then the new Piccolo was a very key part of that run for me as well. So don't feel bad if you can't get that run done. It's something that will still be there for you later. Like, the mission it doesn't expire, so you can just wait till later on when you get the units that can beat it. So I wouldn't like rush and force yourself to summon to beat these events. That's what the developers want, right? They want you to like try them, not be able to beat them, get frustrated, and then summon for the unit. So don't ever in a gacha game feel like you have to pressure yourself to summon to beat an event, right? Just remember, you're playing the game for fun. Enjoy the content as it is, and if you can't beat it, that's fine. Just let it go and enjoy the content you can beat, and work on strengthening your units and your teams, right? That's really the best way to enjoy the game. Don't ever let a gacha game stress you out or feel like you have to like do stuff to get it done, right? Okay, so now that my transforming Goku here has gotten into God mode, the fact that Frieza's locking me into place doesn't matter. Like, this team is so cohesive, they all link so well. Like, you can put them anywhere, and they're all defensive enough, right? So there's my God Goku, like over 200k defense, with damage reduction. Like, he's going to be fine. Now, at this point, I did not need to use a Whis. I used one just to be safe. My only thought with it is if my strength UI in the middle gets super attacked and doesn't dodge, that could actually be lethal damage to me. So I just used the Whis there to be extra safe, but I realistically didn't need to use one here. And since I had the items, it's just like, let's guarantee the clear, right? I'm not going for a no item run here. I'm just showing you guys how to get it done with a really good Legendary Existence team. And like I said, my goal was to show you how to get it done without the new Goku, so that you don't feel like you have to be pressured to summon for him. Although I do understand there are a lot of like hard to get premium units on this build. I do think you can get away with some other units though. So If you're struggling with any of these missions and you want help, if you look down in the description, I do have a link to my Discord, which a lot of people have been joining, getting some help. It's really like, I use it a lot for like a team building help station. So if you want to come in, post your box, let me know what you need help with. I definitely will help you guys build a team. As we are getting more and more members, other people are commenting and helping each other out as well, which is really, really good. I kind of want to just build like a nice, good, fun community in that Discord. So feel free to hop in if you're interested. So there you go, guys. A very quick and easy clear of this. What is this? Under 15 minutes? Whereas my Planet Namek Saga one, I think, took me like 25 minutes, right? So anyways, there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.